Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining in. This side, Rahul Magan here, acting as the Chief Executive Officer of Treasury Consulting LLP. And today we are going to speak about one of the interesting topic, which is Deutsche Bank $10 billion scandal, role of offshore treasury centers. Now, this is getting very much complicated nowadays, and as you heard that there are a lot of talks which are happening on the Bloomberg TV also that Deutsche is in a big mess, and Deutsche Bank CEO Mr. John has said that Deutsche is yet to be fully recovered from the economic crisis, and it is not yet fully established from a lot of actions which is happening across the globe, right? So what would happen today? We are going to discuss about a very strategic part, which is the role of the Deutsche Bank played in $10 billion mirror mirror swap scandal. So what they did is, before the start of the video, I would like to explain the role of the offshore treasury centers. What had happened, especially post 2008, when the financial crisis did happen, majority of the central banks give up doing a lot of things, and we came up with the Volcker. Because of the Volcker, a lot of investment banking units across the globe winded up, people lost their jobs, thousands of people shut up, and so on and so forth. So what did happen that, what exactly happened? Few places came up, and few places came up, and these places turned out to be an offshore treasury center. These places offer you a lot of better place, doing everything what you want to do. Doing everything doesn't mean doing something illegally. Doing everything means doing within the jurisdiction of the law, but at the same time making it more senseful. So in this list you have the well-established offshore treasury centers: New York, Singapore, London, Luxembourg, Frankfurt, Hong Kong, Dubai, and still counting. You have Australia, Tokyo, and China. In fact, our next video would talk about that how, as per the recent study by PwC, which is one of the big fours, is making Singapore as the #1 financial center across the globe. Singapore all scheduled to pip London as a financial center, and to be very honest, Singapore is also acting as a tax haven also. So they have a lot of stuff right now which is happening in the Singapore, and I might not be surprised that majority of the flows in the Asia in the next 5 years will move from Singapore. So in this, everybody plays a key role, but here it was London, not the Singapore. So how the game started? There are a lot of Russian traders who sits in Moscow, which is a part of Russia, Moscow and Russia. They were acting on behalf of few companies. I am not authorized to name any company, so they were acting on behalf of few companies. So what did happen? Suppose one of the trader name is PQR. Now this PQR would speak with the Deutsche Bank trading desk in Moscow, which is here Russian iBanking desk, and they are going to ask you to buy shares of, say, Microsoft at $75 per share. So I'm sitting in the Russian timings, and what I'm doing, I'm asking my traders to buy Microsoft shares at $75 per share today. Now then, whom I am interacting? I am interacting with a lady called ABC. The lady is going to continuously is going to get the fees of say whatever the fee charged by the Deutsche Bank for doing that activity. Assuming the fees is 0.23%. Assuming 0.23% is the fees which has been charged by Deutsche Bank for that. Now when the London opens, assuming after 2 hours, 5 hours, or whatever time as per Russia, but when the London opens, right, the same person will, now that lady will pass the information to the London trading desk, and this person is going to ask the London trading desk that, sir, we bought the shares of Microsoft, now we wanted to sell. I know most of you who are watching the video must be thinking that the purpose of this transaction must be gaining. No, purpose of this is that this is one of the biggest example of the anti-money laundering tools. This is the biggest example of the anti-money laundering, wherein what exactly you did, you're not bothered that you bought at 75, you're selling at 80, or you bought at 75, or you're selling at 72. You're not bothered with that. The only way you bothered is that there are a lot of Russian rubles, billions of Russian rubles who were there, which you converted into Microsoft shares here, Russian iBank desk, and using the London desk you converted these billions of dollars into you converted these billions of dollars into again into billions of dollars of shares against into dollars. You're not bothered that at step 1 you bought at 75, you selling at 80, so you are getting a gain of 5, or you bought at 75, you are selling at 72, you are getting a gain of 3, or there is a fee of 0.3% which is charged by Russia, or into 2, because one fee they would charge, one fee the London desk would be charged. But what did happen with this? This is known as mirror swap. Now if I'm standing in front of a mirror, it's me who is standing in front of the mirror, but not the other person who is standing in front of the mirror. So what exactly did happen? This is a mirror swap. So you created a transaction here with the Deutsche Bank Russian iBanking desk, and you replicate this transaction on the London desk. Now doing that replication make lot of sense, because you had lot of Russian rubles here which you converted into dollars here, and if you go in the market and ask everybody that I wanted to convert the Russian rubles into dollars, there is lot of anti-money laundering compliance that would come into, and especially when because of the Panama scandal. You all know that because of the Panama scandal that has recently happened, Russian President Putin, his nearest friend, and a lot of politicians across the globe whose names came forward, and because of that lot of speculation happens that what these offshore centers, how these offshore centers are playing their role, and one of them not to mention is is Panama, Caribbean island, BVI, British Virgin Islands and all. This is something which has been reported. As per the research report, the total amount of this mirror trading happened is $10 billion. Henceforth, we are telling this as 10 billion Deutsche Bank scandal, which is mirror swaps. Like mentioned here, mirror trading is one of the aspects of the anti-money laundering. I am pretty sure that before winding up this video, there are a lot of American and the European banks who are actively participating in this. In our foreign exchange language, we term this as the one paisa swap, which we mentioned here. So because what we are doing, we are converting the Russian ruble into dollar, euro, yen using offshore treasury centers like London. In our foreign exchange market, we term this as one paisa swap. Why one paisa swap? If you are so bothered about the fee, because here it is a question of the billions of dollars, so fee of 0.23% and something doesn't matter. But if you are so bothered about the fee, then let's have an agreement with the Deutsche Bank. The agreement suggests that at whatever rate I am buying, you will sell at almost at the same rate, 1 paisa or 2 paisa here there. In foreign exchange, we term this as 1 paisa, you can term this as $1 or $2 swaps. This is how it went. This is how the Deutsche Bank able to mirror it up, which the world term this as a mirror swaps. And I'm sure a lot of American and the European banks are in this way, and I'm sure that a lot of banks which are sitting in the offshore treasury location are also participating in that regard. So this was for the purpose of the video. Before winding up, we would like to summarize. So you sits in Moscow, you dealt with Russian iBanking desk, they passes this information to the London desk. You converted this Russian ruble into Microsoft shares. Now these Microsoft shares will further convert it into dollar, GBP, euro, yen, Swiss franc, Aussie dollar, Canadian dollar, or New Zealand dollar, or Japanese yen, and lot others. What finally happened? The Russian rubles who were here converted into dollars here. Ultimately, without everything legalized, and you converted your Russian ruble into dollars. And this is known as $10 billion Deutsche scandal, mirror swap. With this, we thank you for your time, and you know our contact, which is treasuryconsultingllp@gmail.com, and our alternate email ID is rahulmagan8@gmail.com. My mobile number is 9899242978. My Skype contact is rahul5327. We thank you very much for that. This is Rahul from Treasury Consulting.